We are the hub for news, results, and CEO interviews focusing the junior commodities sector. We provide market analysis and perspective that will help position you for solid returns.
Good morning, everyone. It's been a little while. It's great to be interacting with everyone. Hello, Austin. How are you? We're midsummer, playing a little catch up with a lot of the news out there.
Yeah, lots of news floating around. We figured it'd be a good time to jump on and do a quick little catch up. Obviously, you're still overseas, still busy, so we're keeping things as quick and as brief as possible. But we had a few good stories that we wanted to touch on, and the first one was this article that I think came out just over a week ago, with Cathie Wood kind of going head to head with one of Wall Street's biggest bears, Morgan Stanley chief investment strategist Mike Wilson.
Yeah, so I mean, we like to keep in touch with what she's up to because she's gotten beat on a little bit over the last little while. But she has a great thesis that she acknowledges that there's going to be a bit of a hard landing, but that there is huge opportunity ahead, and particularly from the technology standpoint, and also because of the great advancements that AI is providing already. And I mean, that's her forte is really when markets get good and people focus on technology again, and they're really aspiring and growing. She's in a good place, assuming we're still doing the electric thing. Yeah. She's got her thesis, and I don't see any change of us coming off that macro theme of kind of a green future with the electricity and whatnot.
Yes, and she's got sort of an emphasis on obviously electric vehicles and a green shift, as well as high tech, healthcare, crypto, and blockchain. And her kind of thesis is that as inflation begins to kind of retreat back, that we're going to see an acceleration of innovation, especially in the tech space, that's going to kind of offset that decline. And as inflation comes down, this big increase in tech innovation is going to shoot up. And in her thesis, at least, that's going to take ARK, her investment firm, on a much better trajectory, similar to what they would have had in the highs back in during the COVID pandemic, when they were up about 70% from where they currently are now.
And speaking just about the AI portion, like McKinsey says that generative AI could add about 7.3 trillion to the world's economy by 2030, and the automation of a lot of basic skills will be taken care of. But that also has another pressuring event, and you kind of mentioned deflation. Is Gilles Guibault of AXA Investment Managers in Paris? He points out that this deflationary effect could happen, that because clients could negotiate price cuts with staff, like say, for example, existing coders may not be needed nearly as many for a project, and end of use companies will demand a price decrease since they don't have to pay as many coders, as many people. This could cause a bit of a pressure on the stock as well. So, for example, you're saying, like, take IT services. If 100 people are no longer needed for coding, but only half or a third of that, customers are going to demand lower prices. So an interesting Bank of America survey actually in June showed that 29% of global investors don't expect AI to increase profits or jobs, but 40% do expect a boost. And we're on the side of definitely it will. Maybe not this year, but it's on its way, and the effects that it's going to have and the bonuses it'll bring are pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting time. It's going to be, as this continues to progress and advance and change, there's going to be a lot of challenges and obstacles that different industries are going to have to kind of confront in their own way. So you're going to see different implementation. You talked about, different ideas of wage strategies and stuff like that. So it's going to be something that as this kind of shifts, it's going to reshape the economy in a very fascinating way. But I still think we're at a place right now where the pros of it and what it can do, the big ceiling potential, is a lot higher than, kind of what we're risking it at the moment. That's my personal opinion anyways.
Yes, and I mean, we've talked to Gabriel Rene over at Versus, and we spoke about some of the really cool things that could be coming out in the near to short term, and that is, like, every kid in the next few years, in theory, could have an AI tutor. Not only will they be able to automate a lot of your daily tasks and your calendar and whatnot, but someone who can know what you want to learn and help to tutor you in whatever it is, say it's a language or in math or science, whatever. So every student could have that. You could also have for people like your assistant, your coach, your trainer, your mentor, all of these things that would be automated, where you could basically talk to, a Siri of your own that you can have basically learn as much as it can about you the more you use it. And you can see as well that scientists can use it as well in collaboration. They're already using it to some degree in drug development and whatnot. And we look at, say, a company like Versus, they're using it and along right now with their Wayfinder product, and the stock has been doing very well. But we see that's integrated into that business already.
Yeah, and you're glad you mentioned Wayfinder, because I know we wanted to touch on this a little bit, but that announcement out of Versus yesterday, obviously there was another announcement this morning that they've raised, I believe it's close to $20 million on their most recent raise. That's with Canaccord and ATB jumping in. But yesterday they also had the announcement of the launch of the Wayfinder kind of AI routing agent. And the stock responded, as you mentioned, really positively to that. And I think they did a good job of kind of painting a path forward and saying, these are the capabilities of it. They did a great press release. We did a breakdown of it on our message board, which I would encourage everyone to go sign up and check out. It kind of, we tried to put the technical side of the press release into a little bit more of a friendly language for your people to kind of interpret and understand. But check out the message board for the full breakdown. But obviously, really kind of exciting move from Versus, and exactly what we've wanted to see on their kind of checklist of steps going forward.
Yeah, I mean, that main money being raised is good, because it shows that larger firms are very interested in what they're working on and how things are progressing. I think it was 4 days ago as well. They listed on the CBOE UK and in Europe. And this, I'm hoping, is going to be priming towards, once again, when we talk about Wayfinder, is this partnership that they have already with Blue Yonder. That the amount of clients that Blue Yonder has is incredible. It's like thousands of clients already in-house, and they've got a 50-50 split with Blue Yonder in order to put Wayfinder down that stream. And Blue Yonder is going to do all the work. So I'm hoping we're going to see some deals come through that, because everyone wants to see some revenue. That would be a huge jump, a huge bump to the company as well. But I think there was some weight on that, because they developed this the AI portion faster than they had hoped, and they were implementing it into the Wayfinder service. So that kind of delayed it to some extent. Really hoping we get a chance to speak with Gabriel as well in the next couple of weeks to get like a real walkthrough with it, because I mean, AI, it's not everything is created equal. Let's just say when you're talking about AI, as people are starting to kind of find out. Right now, people seem to be playing NVIDIA as a major role, or even Meta as the real play if you're trying to get involved in AI. Whereas we're taking a different, kind of viewpoint on it, as well as Cathie Wood. She's taking a different viewpoint as well. Is that we see that Versus is its thesis and approach is certainly outside of all of these other applications, and they're gaining some traction right now and getting a lot of interest. And I assume there's going to be some big news over the next months and months till the end of the year.
Yeah, I would think you're right, and I'd agree with you. And kind of, if you're going to put your eggs in a basket, I would go for a company that actually specializes in AI and has a unique vision. Companies like NVIDIA, Meta, Google, even, yes, they have AI capabilities to their companies, but that's not the sole focus of what they've done. And I do think there may be an aspect of that that's being rushed by some of these bigger companies as well. So if I'm going to look at a strong AI play, Versus is a great example. But any kind of company that is really specialized in AI, that has a unique kind of use and purpose for it, that's where I'm interested in looking. And that's where, the capabilities, I think, of it can expand to really, really cool and incredible levels.
Yeah, we'll add some more comments to our subscribers as well, and a bit more detail. But I wanted to end off with one other thing in regards to that. Is Thomson Reuters acquired a legal AI firm called Casetext for $650 million just today. This is updated like an hour ago. Yeah. And it just brings me back to Versus. And they had a news release back on June 5th where they're speaking about Dentons US. And Dentons is one of the largest law firms out there. And they they relied on the AI acumen versus really to put together a report for legal practitioners, government regulators, and lawmakers to really keep pace with all these changes and to look at law as code and the legal principles about machine readable language and whatnot. They put this report together, and that collaboration, I find that interesting as well, that Versus has that with Denton's. And when I saw that news release in regards to Thomson Reuters and legal, an AI legal firm, I thought, oh, this is interesting, because I know already, and we'll address it to our subscribers, how important it can be to law. I mean, when you've got set in stone laws, you can have AI pretty much spit out exactly what can be done and can't be done under certain circumstances.
Yeah, there's obviously the potential capabilities. Now, what we're not advocating for is someone like that poor guy who is, I believe, is at Brown University. I may be getting the location wrong, but he used ChatGTP to write one of his legal case analysis, and ChatGTP was actually pulling from a legal case that never happened and didn't exist as a reference point for his whole argument. So it's not quite gotten there yet. But definitely the capabilities, and with Versus, coming back to a more serious note, seeing them being involved in putting the legal framework, which is something that is very important to AI and how its path forward is going to be shaped. Having a company that is that connected to sort of being able to rely on their expertise to put this report together shows, I think, more of the acumen and skill for this management group as well, on top of kind of already the list of boxes they've checked off.
Yeah, it's great, because it not only, I mean, they would have had to convince this major law firm that what they had was exciting and interesting enough for them to want to collaborate. And you can see some of the other partners and white papers they put together that they've been able to collaborate with. That's very, very, it's pretty wild. And of course, their relationship with the IEEE to making standards for moving forward. All of this is going to require an incredible amount of governance and oversight. And just taking ChatGTP and you're saying with having it write your papers for you, you can imagine with artists as well as copywriting, photographs, pictures, artwork, you name it. There's going to be a whole myriad of legal ramifications moving down the line. But once again, we'll get into that in a bit more detail for our subscribers. But we want to just reach out to people, say hello. It seems that although we didn't have an increase in interest rates, there is some kind of hints and suggestions that we're going to have a couple more possibly hikes before the end of the year. We're anticipating it to be, once again, fairly challenging until then. AI is capturing everyone's imagination, so we're very grateful for what's happening on that side of the stock market. And once again, not all plays are equal. This is going to flesh itself out, but just seeing how this has already been a value to many companies in the market is very exciting. And it gets my brain thinking about what can it change in regards to medicine, surgery, and other technologies when it really starts going. And somewhere like Versus, their approach is very different. They're not dealing with past data and having to deal with tons of data and do we have access to a ton of data. Theirs is actually really working on the ability for this system to actually think. So it's able to kind of postulate forward, which is very different than just going back and regurgitating data and predicting something to occur. Once again, we can get into that in a bit more detail with people, but wanted to say hello, touch on some basics. Of course, people that are following us want to know what's happening with DME. We do as well. Hopefully things are going to be coming up soon with that too. But it's a challenging time. We're excited though. We're very committed to companies we like. We're going to have out our newsletter very soon as well. So I hope everyone checks that out to see what our thoughts are on a number of different companies. And we look forward to engaging with you more in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you guys are locked in to, obviously, to the YouTube channel here, but to the website as well. Obviously, make sure you're signed up so you can get access to our quarterly newsletter when it does come out here. We're going to have a lot of breakdowns on companies, a lot of analysis, and kind of setting up what we think is going to be the picture for the rest of the year. And as Andrew mentioned, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be rocky, but, there's a lot of different analysts and commentators out there who are positive about the long run outlook for how this can shape into the future. Obviously predicting a bit of a market rebound, and we'll see what happens on that front. But obviously we're going to be right there to cover it and ride it all out. So looking forward to chatting to you again soon, Andrew. Hope everyone has a great weekend. If you're in Canada, have a great Canada Day long weekend. And in the States, obviously, happy 4th of July early next week. Take care, everyone, and we'll chat to you soon.